Hello, everyone. This is James from Prague, and happy SoulCARE for today. And today is Monday, and first Monday, November. Is that right? I think so. Time is finally coming back, I think. Just had some very good news, I heard, for all of you. I haven't heard this yet, but Pfizer has developed a vaccine that they think might be coming out to trials. They've already went some kind of trial and 90% effective, which is great. And as I originally thought, next May might be a time when things free up, which is great. So let's keep our fingers crossed that good things start happening now, and that this energy that we've been in is lightening up, which I think it is. And I hope you're all doing very well. So I'm here to talk to you, and I want to thank everybody who visited me at Omega on Saturday morning. We did a workshop for Omega Institute in New York, and we had 200 people and talked about intuition and mediumship and guides and so forth. And that was a great time we had here with Beyond. And we're going to be doing a lot more Zoom workshops this coming year, I think. So it seems to help a lot of people, and we do breakout rooms and things like that. So thank you. And if you do not have your email in my registration yet, if you don't have yourself registered on my site, please do that. That way you can keep it top of everything that's going on. We're doing a lot of stuff next year, it seems. It seems that way. I never plan on it, but they kind of give me stuff to do. So something brand new, which is also happening next Monday night. I'm very, very happy. You'll be seeing it this week everywhere. We're going to have to publicize it. It's going to go to the press this week. Is that I'm doing a new show with medium Kelly White, who you know, my good friend Kelly White. Her and I are doing a show which she had for a long time with Dr. Shirley and Palazzini. It's called Both Sides Now. And now Kelly and I are going to do this together. And Shirley's moving on to doing something else. So Kelly and I are going to do Both Sides Now and Beyond. And that's next Monday night at 6 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. So we'll let you know about that. But that's happening for sure. Oh, there we have right there. And so we're excited about that. It's going to be a show about, she's a psychotherapist, and that's her background. I kind of delved in that. I was going to be a psychologist for a long time. So we talk about everything from issues from abuse issues to spirituality to near-death experiences to deja vu to borderline personality disorders to depression to giving you tools to live life again, feeling alone in this world. Are you different? Are you special? How to deal with family dynamic, how to deal with children dynamic. So a whole bunch of different topics, and we're going to have guests as well. So that's Monday night. It's called it's Both Sides Now and Beyond, the James and Kelly Show. We also have a opening, a closing animation. We have a song. We have characters. It's too much. It's hysterical. Okay, it's pretty funny. So today is a great day, celebration for me. I'm glad the election is over. Whatever way you voted, I'm just glad it's over. The whole thing is over. I hope you all feel that breath. We can breathe out. And interesting, because the moment it stopped, I started getting hiccups. So I don't understand what that's about. But I had hiccups for about 12 hours. So maybe that was getting rid of lots of stuff. But I feel good now. So I have my coffee, and I'm ready. Hi, Kimberly. Hello, Janice. And I met also with my writers group last week. That was fantastic. I love that group. It's great. The writers group, great group. Such a great group. And this man, Lewis, we met in the class, who was he was a man who was doing time in prison. And his book is about going from gangs to almost ending his life. Then he went to his room in the prison there. Bhagavad Gita book was there about the Buddhist book. And Vedic teachings, and he read the book and he started meditating, and now he's a spiritual insight medium. He's a medium and he's a spiritual intuitive person, and he really is working with that and his journey. So that's a pretty amazing experience. One of the writers. So many great stories. So I'm looking forward to work with that courses too. Hello, Sharon from New Jersey. Hi there. I hope you're keeping warm. Evening, James. My first live show with you. Oh, good evening. So you must be somewhere in Europe, I'm thinking. Bless him, South Texas. Hello, Belinda. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'll answer questions, of course. The first one was Lori Krumblotzon Cone. Interesting name. Crump Haltz Cone. Oh, wow, interesting. I always like to find out the background of names because, of course, my name is just so interesting too. Can we change our soul contract once we are physical? Is our transition date set in stone? Interesting. I believe that we have free will, so that's one thing. I think we have destiny points, if you want to call it that we go through. We come back before. Think of it like this, very easily, very simply. Again, remember, thinking things as simple as you possibly can makes it much easier for us to comprehend. So if you can think that you're a soul first, and you're going to go to this school called Earth, right? And in Earth, they have certain restraints or laws that you have to go through and be in order to experience that school. And one is to have a preset idea of a curriculum that you're going to take. Why are you going to Earth? What are the most opportune lessons for your soul to grow? And while you're there, are there other students that you need to interact with that will help you advance and them advance as well? And perhaps also by this action, you can better this place that you're going to visit, this Earth place. So look at it like that. So you've come back to learn certain lessons, um, and there are certain destiny points, certain classes you will take. So you're destined to take certain classes. What you do with that is free will. So, for instance, let's say you're destined to meet this, let's say a fellow, right, another soul, and you meet each other, and you meet to have a cup of coffee, right? And you meet each other, and now you have the destiny point is that you meet each other. Now it's up to your free will if you're going to continue that relationship. Are you going to become partners? Or you date each other? Just stay friends? Is it a one-time meeting? That's both of your free will. And how do you know when to use free will? Well, free will is when you use your intuition. Your soul will tell you this feels right or this does not feel right. That's how you can tell. Um, so I do believe there's certain destiny points you cannot change, but certainly outcome with free will you can. Okay, I think the best way to answer. And are we destined to leave at a certain time? Yes, destiny to leave at a certain point in life. We can leave at a certain cut. We have an expiration date, no doubt, or a graduation date. But we can make that earlier if we want to. If we would decide to kill ourselves, well, that could be. If that's not on the plan, then we could do that, or we can have a behavior that makes that happen. So that's free will. Okay, I think that's pretty easy to understand that way. Okay. Okay. New comments. Okay. Patty Hatfield, you lost the love of your life. I'm sorry to hear you lost him or her. I'm sorry. They're always around, so look for signs from your loved one. Look for signs. The more you're out of your head about it, the more they can come through and let you know they're fine. But they are fine. There is no death. They're very happy to leave the body, very happy to leave this encasement. Sometimes it feels like it's. I'll tell you what it feels like. I mean, this is analogies, but it's getting cold here in California, as I'm sure it is everywhere in the northern hemisphere. And I was underneath a bundle of blankets this morning, and I had to get up, and it warmed up, and I was like, oh, I was getting hot under there. But I felt like I had to throw away the bundle of blankets, and I was free. And that's kind of like, and I thought to myself, that's what it's like when you cast off this bodysuit, that we walk around and this isn't real. This isn't who we are. We're underneath that. The soul or the spirit animates that body. So don't give so much to the body. Give more to the spirit. Give more to your loved one who's still around and vibrating with you and remembering all things you did together. That's where your mind should be. Your mind should be reviewing the life you had with them. Reviewing that good times. That's what they're doing. That's what they want you to do, is review the good times, not the end of times, because you're going to see each other again. This is just a blip in time, because this person's going to continue moving on, doing their thing on the other side. You got to finish your journey here, your school classes, so you'll meet up again. But think of it that way: that it's time for you to review how the gift that person left you in life, and how you can continue to live on. That's really where you want to place that mind, and not worrying about them. They're fine. They're not over. Okay, the human that conception that we're over, we're dead. Totally wrong. Completely wrong. Okay. Oh, and yes, this Friday we had to move the psychic class to this Friday from. I took it off last Friday because of the election and people weren't in my right headspace. So I'm moving to this Friday night. So this Friday night we will do the psychic readings. Okay. So if you have any psychic questions, hold them for this Friday, and we'll do them Friday night. They do appear in dreams and they can talk. Yes, very much so, because you're on the other side of life. You're in that same frequency when you're in the dream state. You're in another state of being, an altered state of consciousness, if you will. So you're there with them, and they'll meet you in the dream state. Very much so. So many questions. Hello, people. Hello, hello, hello. There's so many. I'm just going to grab in here. Grab one. Okay, hold on. I feel like a curtain has been lifted now that we can see the light because of the new president. I agree, Denise. I feel the same way. Hello, Marilyn Wall. I miss you too, love. How can I get more in touch with my husband who died 27 years ago? A certain number keeps on popping up. It's him. Debbie, just give him the space to come to you. Just sit in the quiet. Sit in the quiet and just really just concentrate on your breath and just breathing and relax your mind. And when you relax your mind and you don't all this phonetic energy there of worry that they have to try and get through, you calm it down, you can ask to gently send you a thought and a feeling, and they can come right in. So it's very much like the analogy I use about the feather coming down that descends from the air, and we want the feather to land on our hand or palm. It's much easier for the feather to land on our palm if we are like this, surrender, and still and subtle, the feather can lightly get on top of our palm. But if we go try to chase the feather to grab it, it'll go away. Same thing with spirit, so subtle. We try and worry, and it puts up this energy of blocking, and that's why we can't hear from them. And then we get that whole circular back and forth about I gotta hear, I gotta hear, I gotta hear. Okay, Debbie Lynn, how can I get okay? How can I get more in touch? That's what I want. So that's how you can do that, Debbie. All right, thank you. Well, thank you, Renee. You got that. Renee, you can pick another one. It's easier. Okay. Okay. James, any feelings of the safety of the COVID vaccine? Many people are concerned about the safety because it was rushed to product. I don't know yet, Alina. I don't know yet about it. So I don't know about I just heard about it right before I went on, but I don't know the details. This is from Andrea Stewart. Do you believe that when we dream that we are in the alternative universe? Yes, without a doubt, 100%. Yes. Amy, your son passed away, suicide in March. I'm sorry to hear that, Emily. A lot of young children are passing over because they're in a strange world here. I don't know the details, but there's been a lot of younger people passing over. I know that. And I know there's a whole bunch of we call them missionaries, we want to call them beings on the other side who are helping those over. So there is no hell, there is no punishment for suicide. It's just another way of leaving the body. And don't be angry, don't be mad, don't be upset, and don't feel you created that to happen, because you did not. Common things of a mom who loses a child. So please don't do that. Okay. Angie, hi, Angie. Say hi, hello. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Amy Parker. Good afternoon, Teresa Simons. Hello. Hello. Good, Amy. Good, Emily. Good, Emily. Very good. God bless you. Oh, good. Oh, good, Emily. Then it's a relief. Then it's a blessing. Susanna Hassan wants to know what happens when family moves things around the house. Well, if you've had that experience, having things move in your house, stop and just listen. Close your eyes and listen. Who's doing it? And your mind say, "Please come to my mind. Tell me who's doing this and why are you here and what is the message." Easy. Dorley Galvin Contreras. How can you tell if you have the abilities for seeing dead loved ones? Probably if you see them. So if you see them and you have these feelings over and over again, or your visions over and over again, and you hear thoughts in your head, more than likely you are very mediumistic, but it needs to be developed, you see. So that would be taking like a class, like Mediumship 1 class I have on my school. It really explains the basic fundamentals that you would need to know about Mediumship 1. Do I fit into this? Does this make sense to me? Does this resonate as truth to me? That's what you have to find out. So a class, perfect. That's why I created that class. Definitely take that. And you can read books on mediumship as well. There's Talking to Heaven I wrote. There's some good ones out there. There's some good ones out there. Mediumship 101 is a good book. So that's how. Oh, that's interesting, Emily. They get more power when they're over there, like manipulating electronics. Yes, Emily, that's very smart. Good question. They can get more power, if you want to call it power, over there. Some spirits have an attunement to, if you will, or an interest, let's say, in electronics, or scientific electronics movement of energy and circuitry, and because of that interest, if you will, they're able to electronics. They're able to affect the electronics space here in the physical, because that interest in that, or that knowledge of that awareness certainly helps them to manipulate electronics in the space. No doubt about it. And they can do that if they wish to. Many times, that's why scientists choose to work many times with mediums to work with the body's chemistry and how that's affected when they're doing readings and so forth. Yes, very, very much so. A man used to go to this client and used to clock used to stop running on the wall clock and their wristwatch clocks. I said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" She goes, "He repaired clocks." I said, "Well, there you go." So, yeah, it all makes sense, definitely. Do demons exist, star or nihilist? Not in the spirit side of life, but in the living side, I've seen many. Yeah, I'm more afraid of the living than the dead. I tell you, I've seen more nasty, angry, I don't know if we're gonna even give them demonic. It's just this bizarre. Yeah, I've seen it. It seems some really negative things, evil, if you want to call it evil. And I've been around it. I've been around it. I've seen it. You can imagine a person of my stature that they try throwing things at me all the time. And I see it. I'm aware of it. I observe it. Don't get caught up in it, but I'm aware it exists. To me, evil is or that demons. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in devils. I don't believe any of that. I just don't. I think that's man-made religion. But I do believe in a lack of love, if you will, not an awareness of love, if you will, or living in total fear and letting fear rule your life. That I believe in. I know that exists, and I've seen people like that who let fear completely ruin their lives. I've seen it. Vic, Vicator Sitterholm. Hey James, thanks for helping me learn more about my own journey in spiritual. You're very welcome, Victor. Very welcome. My pleasure. Martine, you're using my token to heaven cards. Thank you very much. Russia. Oh, good. I'd love to go to Russia. Sometimes they seem confused. So if the spirit seems confused, just relax your mind and just send out a thought. They get your thoughts all the time. And just tell them that you're loved. Let it just gentle, chill. You hear them. Michelle Kranz, can we go through life and never know our soul's purpose? Feel very stuck. Um, yes, Michelle, you can do that if you want. You have the free will to do that, but it's also up to you to live your soul's purpose, if you will. So how do you find your soul's purpose? Well, I don't know. I don't know how to find your soul's purpose, honey. Let's see. How should we do that? Finding our soul's purpose. So I'm going to say to you, like everybody, what do you love about your abilities you have, like your soul's purpose? What are things you abilities you might have? And I'm just going to make this up, okay? So I'm going to say, well, let's see, music. I love to do music, but I also love to do art or design, and I also love to, let's say, write. So so my soul wants to be expressed. My soul purpose. I have music, art, design, right, and writing. So, out of each one of these, which one do I feel intuitively sings? My soul sings. My soul is made up. What do I not want to live life without? Okay. Now, I love art, but I love art. I can appreciate art, but I also know that I like to manipulate art. Let's say so. Design, because design can include art. So I'm going to circle design. And writing, well, that's like priority. I like to write, but nah, that's not gonna. So I'm gonna cross writing out. Okay, and I feel so art comes into design. Music, I'm like, well, I really love music, but how can I do that with design? Which feels more to me? What feels more? And if it's you don't have a single simple answer, music or design, you feel the same way. You could say, well, I'll do this in design, and you write down a couple of things. What do you like to design? Furniture, clothing, houses, music. Do you like to play music? Do you like to compose? What music do you like to compose? Try to break it down. Try to break all of this down to the final one, to something you really have, that seed of design music you have inside your soul, and that particular seed that needs to be expressed by you in this lifetime. And don't let your head get in the way, because when you let your head get in the way, it'll rationalize. It'll say, you can't do that. You can't do both. You can't do that. BS to that, okay? BS to that, my friends. And I'm proof that you can, because I talked to dead people for 40 years. And I'll tell you something, if someone would have said that 40 years ago, what they did say, I didn't believe them then, but I was not even, I have many, many talents. I have many talents. I'm a writer, I'm a paralegal, I do contracts, legal contracts, I can do agent work, I can design things, I'm a designer, I do artwork, I do gardens, I'm a gardener, I mean, I do so many things. I can compose. I'm a singer, so I do all that. Now, and I'm very much a spiritual teacher. I'm a spiritual teacher and a spiritual medium. What makes my heart sing? Well, they all make my heart sing, but the deepest is mediumship. Why is that? Well, because I'm reaching people from all over the world and to helping people to get to the deepest level of love and realize that love is not the end, that death not the end, that love continues on. To me, out of all those things, that's what's so important. Now I can use all of those things within my mediumship, for instance, which I'm doing with my school. I'm using design in there. I'm using my writing abilities. So many things can be used. So don't be so caught up with just one thing, because it's multi-layered. But there's that one point that I call a point that your soul has to express. Mine is mediumship. It's a love of love, continuing on love. But wrapped around there's all the beautiful things, other abilities that I have. I hope that helps. Hope that's one way of looking at it. And give yourself time and don't get caught up in your head. Okay. What's your take on paranormal investigations from Tanya Fulton? Do you feel it's harmful or helpful to spirits? Oh, Tanya, I haven't met one yet that I know is real, so I can't say, and that's just me. Maybe they are. I don't know. I met a guy, Grant, whatever his name, that did Ghost Hunters or whatever it was, and on an elevator on the View. We are doing this View together, and I said, "So what happens if they can't get anything?" Oh, they make it up. But excuse me, almost slammed the elevator. But I don't know. I have to really believe it. I don't think spirits just hang out a lot of the time. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Only us. What are some traits of an earth angel on earth? You're an earth angel. Love, compassion, healing, love, really. Understanding, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Lori, do plants and trees have auras? I feel love in the forest. Yes, they do. Every living thing has an aura. And what is an aura? Well, an aura is an electromagnetic field, which is around every living thing. So trees, flowers, animals, insects have them. I go out and I walk my lovely doggy, my girl, and we say hello to the flowers and the trees all the time. They tell me what they need. They tell me they need food. They tell me they need water. They tell me if they need a better position for the sun. They tell me if they're cold. They tell me if they're warm. And every time I see like a bug or an insect, I try speaking to them. I try connecting with them. I try connecting with all of it. So I try connecting to blend my auric field and the auric field of the tree and see what this is telling me. See, and that's how you do it. And that's how you expand your mind. And the mind is the soul. Soul is the mind. So by expanding that sense of yourself, your soul self, that mind self, you're expanding to that other awareness of the tree energy, of the living that life force, the same life force. The prana lives in everything, but it's a certain frequency that you're tuning into. So it really helps you to be a well-rounded soul, a more appreciative soul, and a more mindful soul as well. So yes, I think it's a great practice because as you do that with trees and nature, and then when you meet the human, it's always the interesting thing. It's like, oh, because I live in nature. I live in a place in the forest. Actually, I live out in the forest, and I go to the store and I have to see a human, and it's like, whoa! So it's a whole different chalk and cheese, as they say. It's very different because, and it's not good, better, and I don't like to judge things. It's just different. It's just humans are very complex, and I see humans tend to bring on so much trouble and worrisome that they don't need. They don't need, and that turns into dis-ease or imbalances, and they don't need to have that. They don't need to feel responsible for everybody. They don't need to. They don't need to beat up themselves. They don't need to hate people. They don't need to judge people. It's not necessary, not in their nature. See, we need to love people, understand people. That's what it's really about. That feeds our soul. When we love another, it feeds us. That's what it does. We want to treat another person as we want to be treated. We don't want to hurt another person. We don't want to hurt them. We don't want to abuse them. We don't want to hurt them in any way, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We don't want to hurt them. That's wrong. We're here to help and bring people up and not bring down. Okay? I'm on my soapbox. Hi, Mary Daly. Oh, Mama. Hi, Mace. Carrie Wine, come on Friday night. Tracy, come on Friday night. I'm doing this on Friday night. I'm doing a evening of psychic readings. Hi, Dana. Sorry, Sandy. These are going so fast, so I didn't know. Tam Wilkinson said, "You're the only one I've been abandoned." Tam, you're never abandoned, sweetie. You're never abandoned. Never. You might not see spirit around you, but you're never abandoned. And guess what? You always have yourself. That's right. You have you. Tanya Fulton, what's your take? Yeah, I just answered that one, Renee. That Tanya question. I just answered that one. Nicole Perkins, I think you should come Friday night as well. 4 o'clock Friday. 4 o'clock Friday, right here, and on Facebook Live. It'll be a exact same thing. We're going to be doing an evening of psychic messages, psychic readings. Here's one for Barbara. Buckennuck Exler. Can babies come through in readings? My son was 23 months when he goes, yes, babies come through. The soul never dies. The soul, you remember the soul is a baby, that the soul's progressed, right? So usually when you bring a soul of the baby in, you look and see who's bringing the baby in. So if someone's carrying the baby, usually they are. You look and see who's carrying that baby, who's escorting the baby. So it might be an aunt or a grandmother or a relative that you would know. That's usually what happens. Good, Brandon. You'll be there Friday. Very good. Jennifer Miller, I want to thank you. I found peace with my daughter's suicide with your teachings. Thanks, Jennifer. I'm glad you found peace with that, honey. Suicide's another one. That's another spirit lesson, a soul lesson, suicide. And sometimes with suicides, the soul group is sitting together on the other side of life, preparing for this incarnation to the Earth School, and the soul group and with the guides are sitting around saying, "Well, we need to know. The soul group needs to know what what happens with suicide. Like, how do you feel after a suicide? What the emotions there? What's going to go on? What can happen from a suicide? So, who wants to volunteer for suicide? Sometimes it happens like just like that. So you'll look and see in the group and who needs the benefit of this and the benefit of that, and how will this gain knowledge and wisdom from this person? How will I help in this way? So sometimes suicides are like that. I mean, suicide is not very cut and dry. It's so many factors involved. Someone who's mentally ill and finishes complete suicide is very different than someone whose stock went down and jumped out a window. Someone who has overdose of drugs accidentally, that was an accident. They didn't mean to kill themselves, but they will learn that they got to be very careful, respectful of the body that they're given, and they learn a lot through this, respecting of themselves, learning about who are they are, the people around them. So there's many valuable lessons. And when you think about that, and then someone passes over the suicide, and the parents or friends think, and it's so bad to that soul. That soul probably is upset that they had missed the opportunity of that body. So to send them bad thoughts or negative thoughts wouldn't be helpful. It's only helpful to send love. It's true. It's always helpful. Even somebody didn't get along with in life and they pass away, send them love. What if they were a miscarriage? Can you still talk with them? Lori Stiffer. Lori, I have, and I haven't. So some I've been able to just talk with miscarriages, but there's no evidential information. So it's really hard to know if it's real or not. That's the hard thing because I can't. The mother would not know. I could say that you had a miscarriage as a girl over there. Yes, it's not a lot of communication, but there is many times that'll come up. That'll come through. And again, that could be a soul lesson for the mother. Believe it's abortions, miscarriages. I wrote about my third, I think my third book, or maybe my first book, Talking to Heaven, about it's lessons for the mother, and that soul has volunteered to go through that with the mother. You remember the soul doesn't fully come into the body until about the ninth month or 10th. They keep on going and out. So I'm a person who does believe in women's right because the abortion, because I don't believe that the baby isn't there until it's there at the end. So I don't believe that's murder. It's still developing. And that could be the journey of those souls who would have shut that off. Love Talking to Heaven. Talking to Heaven was a very good book I wrote. It was a #1 New York Times bestseller for 26 weeks. And the movie was just as good. It was Ted Danson playing me because we look so much alike. And yeah, and Queen Latifah was in it with me. I sang with Queen Latifah, hung out with Mary Steenburgen, and Jack Parts played my father. And I walked through the trailer. I met him, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Oh my God, you're just like my father." And Diane Ladd played my mother. And Diane Ladd, I'd never met her before. She was a gracious lady. I talked on the phone, and I saw that they call them dailies, what they shoot. And they sent me the CBS sent me the dailies. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my mother, she and Diane Ladd played her mother, and she's walking with it, like her legs, she couldn't walk. She had like had a stroke. And I called up on the phone and said, Diane, my mother had a stroke. How'd you know my mother had a stroke? That wasn't put out there anywhere. She goes, your mother came and told me to play it that way. So it was a wild movie. It was a great movie in so many ways. I remember, and these are just examples of things that we know spirits around and how they work so hard to get these things to happen. Great story. When I was a little boy, I used to sing in the choir with my mother at mass at church every Sunday at the Catholic service at 12:30 in the choir. We would sit there and I love the music and I love the whole look of the incense and the clothing, the costumes, whatever you want to call them, and people dressing up, and people being happy. I like that. I didn't know what the heck they were talking about on the stage or on the altar, I'd say, but I like the look of it. I like the whole ritualistic part of it. I love the ritual, and I still do. I think from many lifetimes, I love the ritualistic parts of things. And yeah, still do. So we used to watch the organ player named Mickey. She used to play the organ, lovely lady playing the organ, and used to sing. I said to my mother one day, I want want to play the organ in church like that one day. And my mother said, "You will one day. God's name, on God's name, you're going to do that." I said, "Okay." And my mother and father went out and bought me a little organ to play in my bedroom, and I practiced and couldn't read music, but I could do by ear. I play by ear. So that was when I was 9 years old, 8 years old, right? So that was that. Okay, fast forward many years, 40 years, whatever it is, and the movie's coming about. This movie, Talking to Heaven, based on my book. We're filming it in Vancouver, and my mother passed quite a bit before that. And I'm in Vancouver at the set, and all the production trucks are outside. And I've never been around that sort of thing. And I'm thinking as I'm seeing these production trucks, like, wow, I created this to happen. I remember thinking, all these people are at work. I created all these jobs to happen because of this movie, and that so made me feel really good that gave people work, because I know what it's like cleaning from working at McDonald's and the whole thing, and staying till Saturday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, cleaning the deep fry bat. I've been through all that. So here it was. I'm like, oh, thank God I was able to give people work. And I'm looking at these trucks, and I'm like, that's interesting. The name of the production trucks are Driscoll. That was my grandmother's maiden name. Then I go into the set, and I see where little James lived when he was a little boy in his bedroom, and they were setting up lights or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, the wallpaper that they used for the set was exactly the same wallpaper they had and that I had in my bedroom. They didn't know that. And then so many weird things on the table, on the side table, the bed table of little James, was a picture of Saint Teresa. My mother's favorite saint was Saint Teresa, little Saint Teresa, the little flower, and she used to have a saying, "Little flower of this hour, show your power." And I always associate that with my mom, and there it was. I'm like, oh, okay, I know you're here. So we were shooting for a couple of days, and I met Queen Latifah. She was there. Gave her a little bit of a reading. I think Entertainment Tonight was up there, and Mary and I and Ted went out to dinner. And then next day we're shooting, and we have to shoot at this church. And Stephen Gyllenhaal's father was the director. And it's a scene toward the end of the series, the end of this movie, which it's a good movie. It's a good mystery. I helped write part of it. It's good. Mary goes into this church looking for this priest, and she's walking in the aisle, and Jake Gyllenhaal's father, I think, can't remember his first name. Well, I don't know. Stephen. He said, Stephen said, James, why don't you go in the front there and play the organ? I'm like, huh? He goes, there's an organ. Why don't you practice like you're practicing the organ? And I went, oh, this is so weird, right? So I'm sitting at the organ. It's the exact same organ that Mickey played in church when I was a little boy. And I'm like, oh, I know this is my mother doing this. And I'm playing in a church, and I'm looking up at the choir loft, and I'm playing. And Mary comes up to me, and we have this in the movie. And she comes over and she said, nice, nice. And she goes on. And I'm like, wow, my mother did it. She did it. So that was fun. That was fun. And I think if you do the right thing in life, and you have a good idea what you want to help people, and you do the right thing, and you don't get in your way, magic happens. You give the universe the materials they need to make things happen. So I've always been honest. I've always been good that way. I always known what I wanted to help people, and I didn't get in the way. And many times at the beginning in my career, I got in my way. I worried too much. I thought too much. I thought, oh, I got to do this, and then I realized you got to let go. Like the Buddha said, you can't push the river. You just got to let the flow happen. You got let go and let God, and it is what it is, and that's all that it is. So you got to remain neutral. And perhaps, of course, in the mediumship, I've learned how to control the mind to a point where I don't get freaked out, or I don't get that way. I just don't, because I see the bigger picture. I see the bigger picture. We all need to see the bigger picture. Okay, here we go. Sorry, now I'm going on to more. I think it's interesting. We didn't find that. I think I talk about a little bit about that in my book. Mary Chates lost my cousin, big brother, and literally 2 days later, I was able to hear him. It was a brain hearing. Is that possible? Does that mean I have meaning? Yes, that's what we call Mary. We call that clairaudience, where you hear a thought in your head, and it's a spirit. It's spirit communicating that way. So they send a thought into your head telepathically. So that's very true. So you do have some ability there. Again, needs to be developed. Okay. Oof. Okay, Regina Reeves says, Regina Reeves, I've always found myself disagreeing with the religion I was brought up in because I realized that they need to control their flock. I agree, Regina. Same, I agree with you. That's my opinion too. I believe that. I think religion played a very important part for most of us, or many of us. At least for me, I can only talk my experience. It put me on my path, no doubt about it. And I was going to be a priest, so there I had the discipline too. I had the respect, I had the integrity, and I had the realization that this was a vessel of God. If anything, that was it. And also the golden rule. It taught me the golden rule. That's one thing it did. So throughout that fear and that was that I consider BS and human-made stuff, there was that beauty of loving God, Jesus, God, that force, this energy, whatever you want to call that, that is perfect in love. That I got out of it. And treating another person the same way, that I got the golden rule out of it. So there's a lot of good things got out of that. And the negative things are, I don't believe that they should put nuns in this space can't marry men, men can't marry women, or whatever it is. I just there's so much that humans get involved to control the masses. But that's going to be breaking down soon. That construct, that institution of that will be breaking down as it has been, because it's no longer going to serve humans. Because humans are evolving. As humans evolve, these structures do also disintegrate because they're no longer can be held up. Because there's no belief system anymore. There's no foundation for that belief because it's old, it's changed. People have progressed. People have moved on, expanded. Then that falls to the side. It's like caveman days. That will happen. That will happen. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it will happen. Guarantee you. First sign of that will be women going and becoming priests. Guarantee the first sign of that. Mark my words, you young people. Okay. Good. Is there? Oh, here. Thanks, Valerie Lynn. What can beginning mediums and empaths do to clear all the negative energy that we are absorbing? Learn how to run your energy correctly. Learn how to cleanse the energy centers of the body. Running the energy. I talk about that in Mediumship One. I do it at least like 20 times a day, because when you consider that we're all empath sensitives, we're walking in a sea of thought. Thoughts are all around us. In my book, Talking to Heaven, I talk about the Velcro suit, that things stick onto us all the time. And if we're sensitive, we feel it more than others. And even during this whole election process, I found that I had to go to bed earlier and relax because I was picking up stuff. Not that I meant to, but it was all around. So I had to run my energy and also rest more. Being more cognizant of the energetic body, running the energy, cleansing the energy, that's what you want to do. And treating yourself, this vessel, this sacred vessel, and learning every day, each step at a time, not rushing through anything, learning every little detail and intricate insight you get every day. That's the best. And take as many classes as you can. And don't have one teacher, have many teachers. Yes, there it is. Renee put this up. School, there you go. That's it. Donna Belchner says, why would a very special person's mom give me the message of love to pass to him? He and I haven't spoken in a year. Well, Donna, because that mom wants to pass, she wants you to be able to say to him she loves him and she's not able to get through. So she'll be able to get through you to tell him. And that might be what he needs to hear and what she needs to do so she can move on over the other side and it can help him in life here. So many times they'll use the people around as the mediums. Many times I've gotten messages through and I say, please tell your friend that his mother would love her and blah, blah, blah. And you have to be the medium there. So that's what happens. Okay. Okay, let's see. Being an empath can be tough, says Jesse Campbell. I wrote a course called Tools for the Highly Sensitive, and it's a really good course. It's a 1-week course, and it's an excellent course. So that's something you should look into. Okay, you don't have to be suffering. You do not have to be suffering. Not meant to be as an empath. Suffering empath, suffering. I like them suffering sensitives. You don't have to do that. No reason. My new show, we're going to talk about that a lot with Kelly White. So make sure again you register because we're going to talk about that. Lori Bridges, you have a lower spirit hanging out around you. What can you do? Well, you got to sit and quietly hear who they are and what do they want with you. That's really when you identify who that is. Krista Constant, I'm clairvoyant. How do I sharpen my clairaudience? Well, you're clairvoyant. So why don't you put a blindfold around you? Put a blindfold around you. You can also I say sit in the closet, put a blindfold around you. That's fine, or sit in the closet and start listening, or sit outside the house wherever you are, and close your eyes and listen. Start listening and opening up your ears all the way, like just complete open them up widely, expand them like a dish, and try to reach out as to the furthest you can hear something. And what does it sound like? That's where you want to first start doing the physical and really hearing the physical. That's the first thing you want to start doing. And be patient. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow, here's my favorite medium of all time. Hi Guy, I have your books. Great read. Oh, thanks, Sandy Brockington. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Marilyn Schultz Barkley is a good one here. There's a friend that comes over and possesses lots of negative energy. How do you change that? Change your friend. Why do you want to have negative energy around you? You can't change your friend, right? So, but you can certainly change that person being around you. I don't have time for that. Why would you open yourself up to that? You can try helping them once, twice, but don't get caught up in it. I'm sorry to say. And many times they want to just dump their stuff on you. You don't want that. We've already had the doormat. We don't want that. Many sensitives tend to be doormats. You don't want that. So it's not your job to be responsible for that person's well-being if they don't take care of themselves. They have to be responsible first. But you have to be responsible for your well-being and say, that energy's not right in my space. You have to have boundaries sometimes. Not always easy. Sometimes it happens with family members too, and close friends, or boundaries. Teaching them boundaries. Why don't bring that negativity around me. Life's too short, right? Kate Lawrence, nice picture, Kate, of you and your partner. They're your friend. How does telepathy work? Sometimes I hear other thoughts. That's telepathy in my head before they say it, but not sure how or why this happens. Well, because, sweetheart, you're a soul having a human experience, and as a soul, souls communicate telepathically. So when we pass to the other side of life, we don't speak to each other with words and verbally. Thoughts is how we communicate. So you're probably very gifted. You're very telepathic, and that's very natural to you. So of course that would be used that way. And if it was taken away from you, you would feel out of sorts. So I think Kate, would be really good at a course, but a basic course, but a slow development circle or something like that to work on that. I think you'd be very good at that. I wouldn't rush it with you. You like to take things slowly too, and I like that about you. Okay. What's up with dementia? Is the soul still present? Great question, Lori. In my experience, I've written about this in my books. The soul is still present, but the soul goes in and out of the body quite a bit. Dementia. Um, yeah, my father had dementia as well, um, and Alzheimer's as well. They tend to go in and out of the body. So that's what happens. So I'm going to say one more thing here. So Friday at 4 o'clock is the messages, the psychic readings. If you're interested, please register for that on my website. And then Monday, the 16th of November, my first show with Kelly White. It's called Both Sides and Beyond, and that's also on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm just going to read you my little press release that we put together. We come together to life's most problems, such as love, abuse, mental disorder, multiple personalities, past life realities, addictions, abandonment, spirituality, discovering your guides, connecting to your loved ones, family, and pets. On the other side of the veil, your life plan, your life purpose. We put our forces together for the rest of the world to change the world. So there you go. That's this coming Monday, a week from today at 6 o'clock at night, and that'll be up on the website very soon. So please register. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. And until maybe this Friday, I'll see you. Take good care of yourself and celebrate. There's a new world happening. God bless you.